Stress. I'm so stressed. How about you? Are you stressed? Probably, because let's be real, most of us are. Welcome to the MenTell Health Podcast. I'm Tim, and I invite you on my journey to talk about mental health. Before we begin, as always, a brief disclaimer. I'm in no shape or form a mental health professional. I'm just a man who's, as you can tell by all those other videos, have had my own fair share of experience with mental health. I want to encourage other people to talk about it more. So let's do it together. And like my very good acting introduction has probably shown you, today I want to talk about stress. It's not the first time I'm talking about stress, but it's another time I'm talking about stress, because stress is just a very big thing in our lives. There's so many factors that contribute to us being super stressed all the time. There is lots of work. A lot of us work quite a bit. There's money problems, because, even though we work quite a bit, especially right now, it's quite difficult to finance your life, which means people have to work more, which makes it stressful. Our relationships can be, not great at times, which can lead to be stressed. And let's be real, if we work all the time because we can't afford anything, it's probably going to have an impact on our relationships. And if we struggle with our mental health on top of that, God, that's a good mix for feeling very, very stressed. The not so good thing is that, especially men, don't really do much about it. Because stress, there's so many aspects that are wrong with this, but stress is seen as good for quite a lot of men, because then we're busy, we're doing stuff, and doing stuff, that's what we do. That's what we're here on this earth, on this planet, in this life, is our only goal as men is to provide and to get shit done. And the more we get done, the better. And the quicker, the better. And the more stressed we are, the quicker we get more stuff done. So, triple better. So why would you change being stressed? If that's, an indication or an indicator of how great you are. I mean, there's, I don't know if it's still true, but for a long time I've heard this thing going on, and I can kind of believe it, that in companies in Japan, people slept during work hours, and it was seen as good because they were so stressed that you just couldn't work anymore. They weren't physically able to continue work without, collapsing into sleep at their work. So, yeah, that doesn't sound very healthy to me. Does it to you? And also, men aren't really encouraged to seek help because, hey, that's not what we do. We're men. We don't get help. We help, but we don't get help. So we basically only help non-men. How that works, not sure. Yeah, but men are discouraged because they're strong, they are reliable, they are resilient. Resilient, such a great word. They are the ones that help themselves if they even need any help, which they don't, because they get shit done. Stressed, but they get it done. But what does that mean? Well, that means that quite a lot of them are either very angry at themselves and the world around them, are not able to recognize that anger or any other emotions they have because they just shut down their part. It's not helping them to deal with the stress. It just makes it more stressful to actually feel things. And it has an impact on their physical health, because when we're stressed, it does something to our body. It can literally make us ill. The hormones that we produce during when we're really, really stressed, cortisol, can lead to heart disease, can make us physically age quicker. Our hair is grey more. Not everyone that grays early is automatically someone that is visibly stressed or shows their stress level, but it can be one of the effects of stress, getting grey. It can make us gain a lot of weight, which has its own health implications. It can make us lose a lot of weight, which has another set of health implications. And it can lead to behavior that is unhealthy for us. It can lead to addictions. It can lead to a dangerous behavior. It can lead to sleep deprivation, because we don't sleep because we're too stressed, or the sleep that we do get is not deep enough, not good enough. It can have an impact on our relationships with other people, which then makes us more stressed or doesn't help us relieve any of the stress. If you are trying to have children, it can have a negative impact on your sperm. So stress is not great, and yet we're constantly stressed. And I am, but it's already been better. I was so stressed during my 20s, well, my late 20s mostly, because before that I was so shut off from my emotions that I didn't actually realize how stressed I was, and how life was stressing me the F out. And I'm stressed now, but now my stress is a bit different to how my stress was in my mid-20s or late 20s, because I now know how to deal with stress. But the thing that stressed me the most during those late 20s was my mental health. Of course, I had financial problems. I just came out of a relationship that was really not good for me, which led to some of my mental health problems. But the majority, the biggest problem was my mental health that stressed me out, because all the other things, apart from that relationship, but the financial problems, the weight problems, gaining, losing, the relationship problems with friends, the aimlessness, that all came because I was not really well taking care of my mental health, and the stress did not help that. And also the mental health created more stress because I wasn't aware what was going on with me. And that's something that's happening to quite a lot of people. They don't realize that their mental health is not top, or that there's something that they should or could work on, and that leads to stress because there's just something isn't right. They don't know what it is. That's stressful. That is super, super stressful. But even if they do, they don't get any help. As you, if you listen to episode 2, again, it's very difficult to have access to help for your mental health. But there's also just groups that, for them, it's way more difficult to either get help or accept help for very good reasons. There's been a recent survey that has shown that only 1 in 3 black men trust any healthcare providers. And for very, very good reason. If you look into the history, black men and also black women and other people of color and minority groups have not really been treated well in the medical profession, if they've been treated at all. And is all for all is the white man. That is the person or the body that medicine is studied upon, that medicine is advanced upon. Medication, the anatomy, diseases are studied on white men for millennia almost, and everybody else was just the little bit almost white man. So, well, you're not a white man, you are a white woman. The one pill of that works for a white man. You're roughly 3/4 of the size, take 3/4 of the pill, should work just the same. You're not a white man, you're a black man, but should be the same, just take the same pill, whatever. I didn't try it, but should be the same. So why would you trust anyone if that is your experience, or the experience of people that you have physiological things in common with? And that's not really being addressed a lot. So already is there very little help, and then there's also not much encouragement for anyone to get help, which just makes even more stress. for those people. And when I say those people, I don't mean for those people, because, obviously I am a white man. Unless it's not obvious because you've only ever listened to the podcast and haven't looked at any of my posts, videos, or whatever, then hello, I'm a white man. So for people who are not white, for people who have to face a medical system and a mental health system that is trained on not them. So why would you trust them? And also a medical system that in the past has experimented on you, or not on you personally, hopefully, but on your forefathers, your relatives, or people that have, again, physiological similarities to you, or a system that has thought of you as less. That, for a long time, the medical profession thought that women were less intelligent because their brains were smaller in their smaller bodies, which kind of makes sense. It doesn't really, your brain size does not correlate with your intelligence, by the way. Finally figured that out. But also they looked at the skulls of black people from Africa and tried to figure out why they are like they are. Weirdly enough. Even though, our skulls don't say anything about our traits. And going back to stress, some people don't seek help either for aforementioned reasons, especially men. They don't want help, or they think they don't need help, or they think they don't deserve help, or they think they shouldn't need help, or because they don't trust, for very good reasons, the medical professionals. But also some other people feel like that they're not under enough pressure or under enough stress, because there's always someone who is more stressed than you. Or a very common reaction to if someone tells you they're stressed, and that's not to say, oh my God, how can you? I've done it too, is to say, yeah, but me too. Oh God, I am even more stressed than you. Look, you have these 3 things to do. I have 5. Oh, you have no money. I have minus money. You've been broken up. I've been broken up many times. I am more stressed than you because I want to be seen too. I want to be heard too. And when someone else comes to us, that's sometimes, or quite often, our first response. Oh, you want to be seen, but I want to be seen too. Hey, someone see my stress. And then, we don't see the other person's stress. And then why would they see ours if we don't see theirs? Or that person does only see that other person's stress. They don't get help, and the other person doesn't get help because now there's someone else who is more stressed. And it's a cycle, because then as soon as they've this person validated me, now you have to go to the other person just to make sure I'm truly validated enough. Go to the next person. That's more stressed. And now they're not validated, and it just goes around and comes around. And then nobody seeks help. Which sucks, because it helps to get help. Should have become a philosopher. My statements. Nail it. So what can you do? And that's basically the point of this episode. It's not, the point is not to tell you what you can do or what to do. The point is, first of all, hey, I see you. You fucking stressed. And it sucks. It is the worst. I feel for you. Stress is just, not great. And yeah, please allow yourself to recognize that you're stressed, and allow yourself to feel like, shit, yeah, I am stressed. And my arm is itchy. Well, that's just me right now. But also, because that's the first step, acknowledge, I'm fucking stressed. See, I don't even have hair anymore, so that's how stressed I am. And in the next step, the best thing to do as a first step is to talk about the stress to someone, and at the same time to be able to try to, if someone else comes to you and wants to talk to you about their stress, not to react in that way immediately, but rather listen. And if you want to know how, listen and or watch the last episode, I go a bit about how to effectively communicate a bit better. But also to listen to that person, recognize their stress level, and then once their needs fulfilled, talk about your stress to them. But don't bear it alone. Don't think, as we men do, that we need to solve every problem of everyone else and our own, or that nobody cares about us so we can't talk to anyone about it, or that there's no need because the more stressed we are, the better for us and the world. Because the world, run by men, is being run so smoothly right now. It's because they're stressed and they don't talk about it. Talk about that you're stressed, and then stop making other people suffer for your own stress. Because it's and then afterwards there's some things you can do, but I'm not a therapist, I'm not an expert. I can just tell you what helped me, something that's helped me cope with stress. And like I've said earlier, I am still stressed, I still get stressed, but different to how the stress affected me then. I now first of all recognize, I'm stressed about something. I recognize what I am actually stressed about 90% of the time, sometimes also still not. I'm not a miracle worker myself. And I can do things to alleviate the stress or to work through the stress before I can solve anything, or before I can take the thing that stresses me away. I've learned that deep breathing has helped me a lot. Regular exercise has helped me. Mindfulness, and I have another episode focusing more on mindfulness later on, has helped me. Talking about it has helped me. Doing things that are good for me, for example, hobbies, like I can't think of my hobbies right now. Well, this is one. This has helped. But also stuff that takes me out of my body. Not me as in like my soul needs to go out of my body, but rather takes the attention away from inside my body to outside my body. Be it coloring in adult or not adult coloring books, doing something handy like building models or renovating something, but not in I need to get distracted from the stress, but to work through the stress, being aware, I'm stressed about something and I have recognized what it is. I can't change maybe the thing right now, or the thing is no longer gone, the stress is still there, the feeling of stress, so I need to work through that feeling. So I work through that by doing something outside of my body after having recognized it and being mindful about things. And then obviously, if all of that has helped me because I have had mental health help, because I've had therapy and I have learned to deal with my stressors, not all of them, or not 100%, but well enough that I can cope with the stress. So I can just encourage anyone to do that to someone they can trust, or they do trust, not just to anyone. And so I hope, and the dream obviously would be that we live in a world where that's, a lot of people, and or that there's lots of them available. Unfortunately, that's not the case. So work with what you have, work with the people around you, talk to someone in your close circles, your family, your friends, your partners, or if you have a therapist, talk to them, or if there's someone around you you feel like you can trust, then talk to them. And if you want, of course, you can always talk to me. You can email me, tim@men-tell-health.com. You can go on the website, men-tell-health.com. There's an anonymous contact form up there where you can reach me. You can reach me via Instagram or YouTube in the comment section, or direct messages. I think you can also reach me on Facebook, technically, because there's a Facebook page. There's no Facebook group yet because no one has said they need it or want it, so let me know if you do. And yeah, this is it for this week. thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed it or got something from it. If not, let me know. Let me know either way. That would be great. And if you can, please share this podcast. Give it a rating on one of the podcasting apps. Apple Podcast is the leading one. Subscribe on YouTube if you're on YouTube. Follow the Instagram channel. And yeah, thank you for listening. I hope I hear and or see you, and you hear and or see me again next week. Goodbye.